In the second episode of the Debate Icon series, Nasruddin Abdirashid from the University of Nairobi shall be battling with Grace Kinyua from USIU Africa in the motion, based on its patriarchal underpinnings, this house believes that all feminists should denounce Christianity.
Welcome to round 2 of debates. I'll be the chair for this round together with my fellow panelists, Wilkista Aduma and Amolo Simba. I welcome the proposer to take the floor, Nasruddin.
Thank you, panel. I am Nasruddin Abdirashid, here to propose the motion that says, based on its patriarchal underpinnings, this house believes that all feminists should renounce Christianity. Let's get some of the definitions out of the way. First of all, what exactly is feminism? This is a movement that calls for the equal treatment of men and women. What is Christianity? Well, it is a religion formed in Palestine over 2,000 years ago by a group of men. Now, what exactly am I coming to propose here? I am here to argue that Christianity not only does not support women, but is anti-women. Why do I say this? First of all you have to do is go to the Genesis, the beginning, where all this started. There was a man. Then the woman did not come independently, was not created independently, but she had to come from a man. Already the dependence has been made. From the first chapter, men are not equal to women. Women are dependent on the man. Not only that, because the man could not think for himself, the woman was punished because she convinced the man to eat an apple. And then who got the biggest punishment? The woman. The beautiful process of birth has been reduced to a punishment for the woman. That is what this religion teaches people. Not only that, for us to really gauge the views of Christianity on feminism or on the idea of equality of men and women, we have to look at two things. First of all, we have to look at the text, what the foundation of this religion. We have to look at the second thing, the people who run this religion. What do they say? So two things we have to look at. Let's deal with the text. I already mentioned the issue of Adam and Eve and how the woman was blamed for a man's action. But what about the fact that the menstruation, for example, it is seen as an unclean act in the Bible? I kid you not. The Ark of the Covenant, for example, women could not go and visit the tent where the Ark of the Covenant was put in during those delightful few days they have. Why? Because menstruation, which is again a natural thing that God made women have, was seen as an unclean thing. So again, they're getting the raw end of the deal for something that was of no fault of their own. Another thing, in the Catholic Church specifically, which is the largest denomination in the world, women cannot be priests or pastors, and they cannot even think of becoming the Pope. Why? Because they are seen not to be able to be leaders. Is this what feminism espouses? No. To continue on the issue of divorce, again, to the largest denomination in the world, the Catholic Church, divorced women cannot receive the Holy Communion. Even if the divorce was not their fault, they still get the raw end of the deal. Even if the man battered them, so they really had to get the divorce, the woman still is punished by Christianity for something that, again, is not her fault. Also, throughout the history of this religion, none of the leaders of this religion have ever been women. Not the prophets, not the pastors, not the Pope. None. So, now I ask, can somebody who really believes in the equal treatment of men and women at the same time hold this religion to be true? Either this person does not know what feminism entails, or they have a serious bout of schizophrenia. Now, because we think that people can be sensible, how do you hold these two movements together? How can you believe that women and men are equal and at the same time follow a religion which tells you the opposite. A couple of more examples. For example, nowhere does in the text of this religion does it mention that there is equality of men and women. In fact, it goes to show that men are superior. Not a single word that shows that God created these two equally and shall hold them before his presence equally. Not to preach to you, but where does it say so? Nowhere. So, to come to the crux of my point, Christianity did not come to emancipate women. It did not come to improve the position of women in society. In fact, feminism had to come and emancipate women from Christianity. Just look at Europe, where Christianity was largely developed after they were chased out of Palestine. Feminism had to come during the Reformation era to try and alleviate the position that women had been put in because of the Christian faith. This is the reality that we have to face. And this is why we strongly argue that no feminist who knows what feminism is can at the same time support the ideals espoused by Christianity. Thank you very much.
We now welcome the opposer, Grace Kinyo.
Panel, first of all, allow me to properly explain this. Both the practice of Christianity and feminism are social constructs that are created by people, men, women alike. So first of all, the term Christianity, the term feminism are all blanket terms. If my little brother jumps on walls, it doesn't make him Spider-Man. Therefore, to say that all people who claim to Christianity are actually Christians and actually practice it properly is wrong. The same thing again for feminists. So first of all, the burden of team proposition is to show us that if the feminist agenda, and agreeing with you that it is for the equality of men and women, if that is the agenda, then what does renouncing Christianity solve in terms of this patriarchal natures of the society? What is the direct effect between renouncing Christianity besides saying that it is bad? And again, the motion affirms this based on its patriarchal underpinnings. We acknowledge that this is a problem. But the question is, how does this action in the motion that all feminists should renounce Christianity, how does that particular action within the motion then solve the problem of patriarchal underpinnings? You fail to show us this. And then again, we offer to you, I'll offer my positive matter first. And I'd argue that if then the problem is within Christianity and the way that it is practiced, does it make more sense if you're advancing for an agenda that you leave that organization, move outside of it, you have no influence, you have no information, you have no connections, no networks? That somehow makes better sense than staying and working within that particular organization that you're actually disagreeing with. And again, the fact that it has patriarchal underpinnings does not remove the fact that it actually has other benefits that we can acknowledge in this house today. And we'd argue that this is actually counterproductive, because what it does, you do have privileged persons even within this patriarchal, what is determined as a patriarchal social construct. You have female, I'll take you later, you have female leaders in church, you have your nuns, you have people who work within that particular organization, so to say. Therefore, what you do is actually you remove the people who are working from the inside out, and you say you ought to renounce this particular feminism. Secondly, what we argue is that you actually lose numbers, you lose allies. So now, and here's the thing, we've already had intersectionality, we already have privilege even within feminism. We've had white women privilege, we've had class privilege. So now what you want to add is antichrist privilege. And then we argue to you again, the public image and labeling of feminism as it stands today is already bad enough. It does not help anyone in this case to actually then label feminism as antichrist, as renouncing Christianity. It does not help, seeing as how most of the population in the world actually subscribes to this particular faith. And then again, we say that this actually alienates this particular people. There is no need for compromise for these particular things. One can still be a feminist and still be a Christian, because renouncing your Christianity does not do anything for the feminist agenda.
POI, yes. You said that Christianity has many benefits for women. What exactly are those benefits, and how do they conform to the ideals of feminism?
That's a very good question. And again, I offer to you that Christianity is a social construct. Therefore, benefits are relative based on what you're practicing. A Catholic, an Anglican, both Christians. Anglicans, you can have female pastors. Catholics, you cannot have the female then leading the service in this particular case. So the question is not Christianity. The question is, what is the understanding? How is it practiced? Again, I offer to you, this is a social construct, not based on Christianity, but values and interpretations of this particular word and text. And then we offer to you that this is actually abuse and discrimination of feminists who practice Christianity. And we offer to you again that this does not help because it alienates this particular people. It removes them from the picture. Therefore, what Team Proposition is arguing for is that we renounce Christianity. Yes, we agree. There are patriarchal underpinnings, but does renouncing Christianity, what is the benefit? What is the causal relation between the two? So then that's to say that if then we renounce Christianity today, then all of the patriarchal underpinnings end in this day. It does not. There are still traditional underpinnings. There are still age underpinnings. There are still national underpinnings of this particular thing. There are systemic rooted institutional underpinnings of patriarchy all over the world. So then to offer that Christianity is this one size fits all approach is actually wrong in this particular house. And you offer to us a lot of arguments which I shall tackle later, but then I'd like to clarify that there are actually leaders who are women, and actually the ones who have the most access with the people. Look at Mothers Union groups, look at other groups that work with children's homes and things of that nature. You talk about them not being equal in the text. Again, it says that a man and a woman shall come together and be one. If you're coming together and being one, it does not offer this particular underpinning. And now again, all of us fall short of the glory of God. That means that none is considered as greater or less by God. Thank you for your time.
We invite the proposer to make his reply speech.
First of all, let it be clear that the opposition did not give a single example of what benefit that Christianity gives to a feminist specifically. Absolutely none. Also, she said that the Bible states that a man and a woman shall come together and be one. Thank you for bringing that example. In law, there is something called the principle of coverture, which basically means that the man and the woman are recognized as one. But when they are recognized as one, it is the man who controls everything. It's the man who can sign legal documents. That was the principle. And where did that principle come from? It came from that exact quote. Thank you for defeating your own argument. Also, who got rid of the principle of coverture? It came during the Reformation when women were able to speak up and say, this is an outdated idea, we should get rid of it. And also, the entire argument of the opposition is, don't renounce it. Just stay inside and try to reform it. Okay, here's a couple of problems. Christianity has been there for what? Over 2,000 years. And it has not moved. It has not moved. If you go to the text, the positions in the text are still the same. These are the same ideas written 2,000 years ago, are the same ideas being taught to children in Sunday schools. So when will this world come when Christianity perfectly aligns with feminism? And let me ask you, if the Christianity comes to that position where it aligns with feminism, is it really Christianity? No, because Christianity is what is in the book. Also, we have been she said that everywhere else across the world there are patriarchal underpinnings. So what's the point of renouncing Christianity? Will it have solved the problem of having two contradictory ideas within you? Yes. Because now you firmly believe that men and women are equal. You don't have, and again, remember that she puts the blame on the feminists and say, you have to stay and reform. She doesn't say that the people who control this religion have to reform. She puts the onus of reform on the feminists again. Always women getting the raw end of the deal for something that is not their fault, which is why it's best to renounce two contradictory ideas which a same person cannot hold at the same time.
And now we welcome the opposer to make her reply speech.
Panel, first of all, the proposition offers the examples of text, and running of churches and running of different institutions. And we offer to you that text is subject to interpretation. The idea of menstruation, the idea of punishment, and which one is greater, all of these are relative facts owing on tradition. The fact that women could not go into the Ark of the Covenant was a tradition of the Jews. This is a traditional thing, not a Christian thing, written down or even offered by God. Again, we offer to you that this particular blame on feminists, we are not blaming feminists in terms of opposition. We're saying that there is no benefit offered. If then they're going to renounce their Christianity, surely there should be a benefit. And we ask you again, which is the benefit? And the fact that they're still in Christianity does not stop their minds from believing that they're equal to men. And again, we offer to you, what is the other thing? Oh yeah, the idea on what are the benefits for this particular feminist. The very fact that you have access to a higher being, that you can call on someone else. Every other benefit is offered to a Christian is offered to this particular feminist because they enjoy those particular things, because of their convictions, of your beliefs. Surely, none of us can actually explain those particular things in this house today, besides the fact that beliefs and convictions are a thing that's supposed to be taken care of. You talk about the principle of coverage, and that's perfectly fine. And I offer to you again, who instituted this? Is it states? Is it companies? Are those not traditions of our place and not convictions of Christianity? Who actually said this particular thing in the Bible concerning signing of documents, concerning all of these things? It said that the man, pardon me, that's all for now. And then also in terms of, to reiterate my points concerning this, what this actually does, it is actually counterproductive because it discriminates and alienates feminists who are Christians. Secondly, you lose access to information, to networks, to connections. It's such a great loss for feminists who believe in Christianity for no benefit at all. And again, we ask you in this house today, what exactly happens? Sure, let's assume that all feminists who are Christians renounce their Christianity. Does this change what happens within Christianity? It does not. Thank you for your time.